Hi, I'm Randy Horton from Orthogonal. Welcome. We are here at the Boston Convention Center for the LSX World Congress. You can't get to every conference, and if you do get to every conference, good luck with that. You can't talk to every interesting person at the conference. So what we try to do is curate a set of very interesting people at the conferences and bring some of their insights to you at your home office, I guess I would say these days. So we're here with Shri from Noctrix Health. Shri, welcome.
See.
Tell us a little bit about Noctrix Health and then a bit about yourself and how you got here.
Yeah, so Noctrix Health is a wearable medical device manufacturer. So we build and manufacture the first wearable treatment for restless leg syndrome. So the product is called Nidra, and it's a neurostimulator. So it stimulates the peroneal nerves of your legs bilaterally and helps you relieve the sensations of urge and discomfort that keeps patients with RLS up at night. RLS is largely a pharmaceutical market. There's a bunch of FDA-approved drugs, 4 of them. Dopaminergic agonists largely are the mainstays. So we're the first non-pharmaceutical treatment that is now cleared and approved by the FDA. We're actively expanding our commercial footprint in the U.S.
Very good. Tell us a little bit about the syndrome for people who aren't like, what is it like if you have it, and kind of what's the prevalence of it?
Yeah, so I actually stole this from someone who told me this, and I resonated so deeply with it. They said RLS is the most common disease you've never heard of. So 1 in 10 adults in the US has RLS. People describe it, patients with RLS describe this as almost like this painful, tingling Coca-Cola flowing through your veins sensation, which happens in your lower legs usually, but it can be in other parts of the body as well. But the hallmark of RLS really is that it shows up at night, right before you go to bed, and it can be relieved by just getting up and walking or kicking your feet. So unfortunately, kicking your feet or getting up and walking involves you
not
voluntarily
unless you're a
that.
sleepwalker. It's not very
Exactly.
conducive.
So sleep onset insomnia is what they struggle with. A lot of our patients that get on Nidra today haven't slept well in years, if not decades. And pharmaceuticals are their only option. 3 of the 4 FDA-approved drugs are no longer in the standard of care guidelines now, just because of the adverse side effect profile that they have. So we're excited to take a non-pharmaceutical alternative out to market for these patients.
Excellent. And do they wear this before they go to bed, while they're sleeping? Or is it
So we designed it to where they could wear it right before they go to bed and fall asleep with the therapy on. Most patients can't feel the stimulation as disruptive to their sleep. But what we've found is patients actually have symptoms all day long. A lot of our patients have symptoms in the afternoon. Some of our patients use it when they travel on long plane rides or car rides. So it's a use-on-demand therapy. That's one of the benefits of being a wearable technology, is that you have relief in your hands, and you could choose to use it when you have symptoms present. So we just advise our patients to use it whenever symptoms present. But a vast majority of the use case is right before they go to bed. So they wear it and they fall asleep with the therapy on.
Got it. Very cool. And what stage are you at? Like, where are you in market? What countries?
Yeah, so we're a team of coming up on about 100 people. We're based in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and we've got an engineering office in Pittsburgh. We are a commercial stage company. We've been commercial for a little over a year. We just got our reimbursement codes and payment, and we just got included in the standard of care guidelines from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine.
Congratulations.
So very excited to expand our commercial footprint and just get more patients access to this therapy.
All right. So talk to us a little bit about your core therapeutic is something that stimulates a nerve with electricity. What's the digital story for Noctrix Health?
Increasingly, we find that if you don't have a strategy for what your message is and what your digital footprint's going to be, it will write itself, and you don't want that happening. In our case, we find that patients that have RLS or families of patients that have RLS are very vocal. They know they have RLS. They know their pet partner has RLS, and they're out there Googling. They're out there searching. So a good chunk of our patients come to us through our website. They fill out our lead form, like, hey, I want this thing. A lot of our patients even print out the materials, take it to their doctor's office and say, hey, I want this thing. So they're very proactive and, engaging and reaching them where they are, whether that's texting on the internet, or these days over ChatGPT and AI, Reddit forums and patient forums where people are talking about the product. It's important to get the message out there and have people make it easy for them to find you.
Great. So that's the patient acquisition side. What about, is there a digital story once they start using the device for?
Absolutely. So we do, as with any wearable device, you could potentially pair it to a bunch of smartphone related applications. We've taken the approach of being very focused on, hey, we do one thing and we do one thing very well, which is treat RLS. So that 100% of our focus early days was on just that. As we're commercial, we've now added layers on it to where we find that it's a lot easier to debug problems with, hey, why is this person responding so well and this person's taking longer to figure it out? This person's not responding. So the ability for our team to do diagnostics on the device, understand how patients are utilizing the device, has grown 10x with the utilization of apps. So if we do pair that with a companion app, it makes it a lot easier for our customer care and support teams to work with the patients to say, how do we get them back on the right course? Whether that's timing of use, whether that's charging patterns, whether that's frequency of use, duration of use, we're able to see all that now thanks to some of the insights pulled from these apps.
And are you able, or do you pair that with biomarkers, endpoints, or patient surveys about what's happening from the device?
One of the things about RLS is it's a chronic condition. And much like a number of chronic conditions, not all, they don't have objective biomarkers of efficacy of treatment. That's something that we've grappled with for the longest time. There are these patient-rated measures, scale scores. We've used those for our trials. So we have one of the largest real-world evidence registry studies ongoing now for RLS. Over 330 patients at this point are enrolled in that study. And making it easy for them to self-report outcomes is going to be incredibly valuable. So we're using standardized outcome measures, like whether that's quality of life related measures, depression, insomnia related measures, anything that good sleep can fix. We try to measure it. And some of them are self-reported, some of them are reported by the physician. So when they show up at the follow-up visit. Okay. But what we're also trying to push the field to is, hey, what's the next generation of sort of objective markers of how do we know they're getting better? How do we know they're sleeping better? Now, thanks to the wearables and sleep, we do know that can be quantified pretty well. The Aura Rings, the Fitbits, the Apple Watches.
So you don't have to start collecting that yourself. You can just—
Correct. Rather than us sort of reinvent the wheel, we want to focus on, hey, who are those people who are doing it really well? And how do we partner and pair the therapy with folks that are doing it really well to actually show patients how they're sleeping better?
Very interesting. Very interesting. And do patients get it? Or do you say, okay, we're going to connect your Aura Ring to this? Do they just, oh yeah, no, it makes sense? Or?
So one, we haven't done any of that. This is just hypothetical here. But two is really what they do care about is I can't fall asleep. I need to put this thing to fall asleep. So the number one thing that they come to us for is sleep onset, right? I can't sleep. I just need the sensation gone. Everything else winds up being icing on the cake, right? So now once you've got that person on therapy and it's helping them, they're interested and engaged in double clicking. They want to know, how well is it working? Say, oh, I know I slept better. And now you actually have some of our patients send us pictures of their sleep scores and say, hey, look, I got a 90 on my sleep score. I've never gotten a 90 in like decades. I don't even know it could get that high. So they're engaging in more ways with the technology they use now.
They're finding a way as much as you're telling them the way.
This is happening organically. Whether or not we want it to happen, they're using it that way.
As kind of sleep is the new counting steps, are you seeing a lot kind of a accelerating interest or engagement from patients on that side?
I'm here right from the International Sleep Meeting in Singapore, and they had a whole session on this thing called orthosomnia. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. Orthosomnia is now an actual medical condition where you lose sleep because you're obsessing over sleep metrics, essentially. So companies know about it, doctors know about it, and thanks to the widespread proliferation of sort of wearable sleep trackers, there's a lot of obsessing over, hey, did I take 8,000 steps or 9,000 steps? It's the equivalent of that is how much REM sleep are you getting versus non-REM sleep. So there is a real condition with, you can go crazy on that, but the way most people see it, especially patients with RLS, for a healthy, normal person that's maybe could be getting more sleep, that's any of us, sure, you could obsess about sleep and become orthosomniac, if that's a word. For a person with RLS, they haven't slept in weeks, months, years, period. So any sleep is a win for them. And so when they start actually getting restful, restorative sleep, even if it's 4 hours or 6 hours, it makes a tremendous difference in what we measure in our studies is depression scores, insomnia severity index. And we'd like to think, hey, this thing could be treating all of those conditions. No, it's just sleep. If you sleep better, you start performing better. And that could be even as little as 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep. Pairing with the right, whether that's a sleep tracker or a digital biomarker or patient-reported outcome, winds up being important to then showcase that patient's journey and show other patients how to do it. Hey, this is the typical progression, and this is how you could follow in the footsteps of 30,000 other patients who are using it.
What advice would you give to people about how to tackle reimbursement for digitally new things?
It's the hard way. It takes a minute, takes patience, but I would say it all starts with sort of the value proposition. Do you have really compelling, strong clinical data to start off with? Invest in that upfront and saying, hey, not just anecdotal evidence or subjective evidence, randomized controlled trials, peer-reviewed journals, ideally something that would get featured in like a guideline review.
Do the hard work of real science.
Pretty much. And there's no shortcut to that. I think that's absolutely essential for whether or not you choose to go the reimbursed path or direct-to-consumer, self-pay. I think, building a strong body of evidence for why someone should use it is vital, not just for patients to adopt it, but your early adopters, your prescribers who first want to, be the first to prescribe it.
Right.
What are they doing this off of? So I think that's really a great place to start. And particular to digital therapeutics and digital health, I think really staying abreast of where CMS's head is on this can be helpful, because you don't want to be working towards something that they're going to pull the rug out under your feet on. So staying on top of the latest and greatest in policy on, hey, where's everybody's head at on remote diagnosis or remote monitoring or AI tools. Staying abreast of that can be tremendously helpful.
I think the American Public Policy Association just said there's an official diagnosis for losing sleep monitoring policy changes and updates, like being a criminologist in the old day, reading the tea leaves.
That may be something AI can help with, hopefully. So it could be one of the many areas we could count on AI to do that job for us.
So let's close with one question, which is, I think you have the benefit now of you're an established company, you're in market, you could do a little Monday morning quarterbacking. One of the things that always impresses me about founders, it also makes me glad I'm not one, is you have to decide what you're investing in when at every point. How much do I spend on this? How much do I worry about this? And how much of that can wait till later? In retrospect, if you could think about when you made investments or took extra time to think about or work on digital options going forward, would you have done anything differently? You have advice for founders on when to, even if digital's not here, when do you need to start working on it or giving it time or paying a little bit extra for your software to leave on-ramps?
Yeah, no, I would say it's a question of what are you going to fund at what time and how key to your value proposition is that piece. With most devices today, there's definitely a software component, whether the software resides on board the device and that's the firmware and that's something you want to own and control. I would say looking back, fortunately, I felt like we were very clear-eyed about, hey, what is our core strength? What do we want to hire internally and build and own? And that's our proprietary secret sauce. And that was everything in the device. And anything pairing to the device, patient-facing, user interfaces, it's hard for a startup to staff up and build a team that's capable of delivering a world-class application.
So the answer for you is focus on being the best point solution you can be.
Correct.
Not trying
so,
to
as a startup, you're going to be constrained on resources, time, and people. So you're going to find the core number of people to do exactly what the device needs to do and partner to go build the accessories, the software that it interfaces with. And that way you truly get a world-class experience, because you do work with a firm that has UI, UX researchers, for example. Like startups can't afford to have a big team doing UI and UX. It's usually one person asking 5 patients and there you go. So working with the right partners early and iteratively, I think can be very helpful, because I think had we kicked off something 4 years ago, it wouldn't have been what we wanted today. So picking a light approach that's more bite-sized and not trying to skin it all one shot and saying, hey, this is the only time we're going to build an app, let's throw everything in there. that usually backfires. And more than anything else, the app would work and the delivery would be great, but it may not be what you want.
Right.
And you could just very quickly realize that's not what patients want.
So don't underestimate the peril of digital business distraction.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Very good. You're at the LSX conference. Any questions you're looking to get answered here?
Yeah, it's an exciting meeting and lots of discussion around pharma, digital health, MedTech. I see the lines sort of slowly but surely converging.
Yeah.
It used to be very separate sessions and very separate discussions, but there's more and more topics and themes that are coming up that I pop my head into the pharma side and they're talking about the same exact topic. I just came off of a session on reimbursement and the changing Medicare landscape for payment for devices, and they have an equivalent session on the pharma side. So I do see those lines sort of crossing, which makes me tremendously happy because one, for Noctrix specifically, we're in a pharmaceutical market. So we went out and we looked at exactly what trials pharmaceutical drugs ran for RLS, and that's what we replicated. I think more devices could benefit from going after some of these bigger pharmaceutical markets.
Don't think just narrowly in terms of I have a device, therefore I can only learn from device.
100%. 100%.
Very good.
Couldn't have said it better.
Well, thanks a lot for coming out. Have a great
Pleasure,
conference.
Randy. Thank you.